Hi, we're going to use, this is 11.3 video B, and we are using the discriminant. The discriminant is what's under the square root of the quadratic formula. It tells you how many solutions and what type of solutions you will have. You have a chart also. It's called using the discriminant. If the number is, so I want you guys to go through it. Basically, if you have a positive number, you have two real solutions. If that is also a positive number and it's a perfect square root, it's also going to be factorable. If the number is positive but not a perfect square root, then you would have to use the quadratic formula in order to find your solutions. If your discriminant is 0, that means you have only one real solution and it is factorable. If you have a discriminant that is negative, it means that you will have two complex imaginary numbers and you must use the quadratic formula. All right, so let's begin on some examples. The first example is asking us to, let me put a little starter here. Okay. The first example gives us a quadratic equation in standard form. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we are going to find out, we're going to use the b squared minus 4ac, and that is the portion that is under the radical. So you guys are going to have to tell me what a is, what b is, and what c is. In order to do that, a is 10, b is -1, and c is -2. 10 is the number in front of the x squared. That is your a value. B is the number in front of the x, and that would be -1. And c is your constant, which means it doesn't have any variables. I highly recommend that you guys put squared minus 4ac. So b is b squared minus 4ac. All you have to do is plug and chug. Your b is -1. Let's change colors. Your a is 10. And your c is -2. -1 squared is 1. -4 times 10 is -40. -40 times a -2 is a positive 80. Now, 80 times 1 is 81. Now, first of all, that is a number that's larger than 0. It's a positive number. It's also a perfect square root. So that will give you two real solutions. And you can also solve this equation by using factoring. You can always use the quadratic formula for everything. Okay, so that's that one. And it says, tell whether the equation can be solved by factoring or by the quadratic. You can use it by factoring. So it would be solved by factoring. And it is two real solutions. Okay, those are the type of solutions you guys will have. Let's move on to the next one. The next problem is find the discriminant. Use it to tell you if it's going to be what type of solutions that it has, or if you can factor it, or if you have to use the quadratic formula. You guys, you can use the quadratic formula with any type of problem, any quadratic equation. However, factoring only, you can't factor something that is not giving you two real solutions, alrighty? Or one real solution. So on this problem here, right now it is not equal to 0, so I'm going to move over the 7. And I get 3x squared minus x minus 7 equals 0. So the first thing you're going to ask yourself is what is a, what is b, and what is c? My a is 3. That's the number in front of the x squared. My b is -1, and my c is -7. So you're going to use b squared minus 4ac, because remember, we're not solving this. We're just looking at the discriminant. That's all. When you take the ACT exam, they're going to ask you, what is the discriminant of this quadratic equation? You don't have to solve the whole thing. Just tell them what the discriminant is. So the part of the quadratic formula, the part that's under the radical, is b squared minus 4ac. That's all they want you guys to know. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug and chug. So I'm going to make little parentheses. It's really helpful if you guys do that. And my B is -1. My A is 3. And my C is -7. -1 squared is 1. -4 times 3 is -12. -12 times -7 is a positive 84. And if you're wondering, just to make sure, that's 14. Yep, it's 84. When I add the two together, I get 85. Now, first of all, this is a positive number. However, it is not a perfect square root, which means you must use the quadratic formula to solve. And it has two positive real solutions. Alrighty, let's go to the next one. Whoops, how many do we have? Oh, we can do this. All right, here we go. Once again, they want us to find the discriminant, so I need to move over the 40x. Move over the 40x, because remember, it has to be in standard form. The quadratic equation has to be in standard form, which means that everything has to be on one side of the equation. Equals 0. So on this again, we know that A is 16, B is -40, C is 25. So you're going to go B squared minus 4AC. So B squared minus 4AC. All you have to do is plug in B is -40, A is 16, and C is 25. I have no clue on these. Well, I know that one. That one's going to be 1600 minus, and it might be minus, I don't know. I'm going to use a calculator. I'm cheating. I'm using a calculator. So 4 times 16 times 25. That is also 1600. So on this one, 1600 minus 1600 is 0. So if we were to go back here, when the discriminant is 0, it means I have one real solution, and I can factor it if I want to. Okay, so this I can factor to solve, and I have one real solution. Okay, you can do this, one real number. It means the same thing. Alrighty. Okay, next one. On this one, they want you guys to tell me, find the value of k so that the equation will have exactly one rational solution. So if we do this, my goal is to have a 0 in the denominator. So I need to know it's b squared minus 4ac. Right now, I know that my a is 4. I know that my b is -k. And I know that my C is 9. So all you're going to do is you're going to plug and chug. So my B is -k. My A is 4. And my C is 9. So I get -k squared, which is k squared. Minus 4 times 4 is a -16. Times 9. You guys, I'm cheating. I'm going to use a calculator. 16 times 9 gives you 144. Now, this is where you think to yourself, what would k have to be to make that 144 minus 144 is 0, right? Because that's what my goal is. I need to make my discriminant 0 to have one solution. So the only thing I could think of is if k was 12, because 12 squared minus 144 would give you 0. So k would have to equal 12. Alrighty? So k would have to be 12. And remember, they just want you to tell me what the value of k is. And k would have to be 12. If you wanted to check it, you would go a is, well, here, 4x squared minus 12k, or sorry, that's an x, my bad. Oops. 12x plus 9 equals 0. So your A is 4, your B is negative 12, and your C is 9. So you would have negative 12 squared plus, minus 4. A is 4, C is 9. So you would have 12 squared, which is 144, negative 12, squared, which is 144, minus 144, and yes, it would give you 0. They just want to know what K is. Alrighty?